Hearing loss is easy to ignore. There's no pain, pressure, or bleeding as hearing loss from noise exposure occurs. It happens gradually and easily ignored until it's too late. There's an estimated 33 million people in the U.S. with hearing loss enough to affect their daily activities. Occupation-related noise exposure accounts for 11 million cases of hearing loss. Another 36 to 37 million people suffer from tinnitus, which is a chronic ringing in the ears. About one-third of Americans between ages of 65 and 74 have hearing problems. About one-half who are 85 and older have hearing loss. If left untreated, hearing problems can worsen. Hearing loss may cause you to miss out on talks with family and friends. You may find it difficult to hear on the phone. You may not catch the important words of your doctor. Hearing problems can make you feel embarrassed, upset, and lonely. Your friends and family may think you're confused, uncaring, or difficult if you can't hear well. On the other hand, people who are hard of hearing can often ignore others, and they'll just think you're hard of hearing. It's called selective hearing in most marriages. Before we can understand hearing loss, we must first understand what hearing entails. When we hear sounds, we are really interpreting patterns of movement of air molecules. Hearing is a series of events where the ear converts sound waves into electrical signals that are sent to the brain and interpreted as sound. The ear has three main parts: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. The outer ear opens into an entryway called the ear canal. The eardrum separates the ear canal from the middle ear. Small bones in the middle ear help transfer sound to the inner ear. The inner ear contains the auditory or hearing nerve, which leads to the brain. When noise is too loud, it begins to kill the nerve endings in the inner ear. As the exposure time to loud noises increases, more and more nerve endings are destroyed. As the number of nerve endings decrease, so does your hearing. There is no known way to restore life to dead nerve endings. The damage is permanent. The healthy ear processes sound frequencies from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Sound frequencies between 500 Hz and 4,000 Hz include the frequencies most important for speech. Intensity of sound is measured in decibels. A person with hearing within normal range can hear sounds ranging from 0 to 140 decibels. A whisper is around 30 decibels. Conversations are usually 45 to 50 decibels. Sounds that are louder than 90 decibels can be uncomfortable to hear. A loud rock concert might be as loud as 110 decibels. Sounds at 120 decibels or louder can be painful and result in temporary or permanent hearing loss. How do I know if I have a hearing loss? Visit an otolaryngologist, a doctor who specializes in the ear, nose, and throat, or a professional audiologist if you have trouble hearing over the phone. Find it hard to follow conversations. Need to turn up the TV volume so loud that others complain. Have a problem hearing because of background noise. Sense that others mumble. Can't understand when women and children speak to you. Causes of hearing loss: aging, earwax buildup, exposure to very loud noises over a long period of time, viral or bacterial infections, heart conditions or stroke, head injuries, tumors, medication, heredity. Hearing loss can affect one or both ears. There are four main types of hearing loss. Conductive, hearing loss caused by a problem in the outer or middle ear. These losses are usually not severe. Sensory, hearing loss caused by a problem in the inner ear or auditory nerve. Sounds may appear distorted even with the use of a hearing aid. These losses can range from mild to profound. Mixed, a combination of conductive and sensory losses. Central, hearing loss caused by a problem along the pathway from the inner ear to the auditory region of the brain or in the brain itself. While any worker can be at risk for noise-induced hearing loss in the workplace, workers in many industries have higher exposures to dangerous levels of noise. Industries with high numbers of exposed workers include agriculture, mining, construction, manufacturing, and utilities, transportation, and military. Work-related hearing loss continues to be a critical workplace safety and health issue. NIOSH and the occupational safety and health community named hearing loss one of the 21 priority areas for research in the next century. Preventive measures must be taken by employers and workers to ensure the protection of workers' hearing. Noise can damage your hearing. Exposure to excessive noise raises your hearing threshold, the degree of loudness at which you first begin to hear. Temporary hearing loss is caused by exposure to loud noise for a few hours. Permanent hearing loss occurs after the ear has been continually exposed to excess noise. The warning sign that may indicate permanent hearing loss includes inability to hear high-pitched or soft sounds, trouble understanding conversation or speech heard over the phone, ringing or roaring in the ears, called tinnitus. There is no cure for hearing loss caused by noise. Hearing aids do not restore noise-damaged hearing, but may help. In addition to hearing loss, excessive noise exposure may contribute to mental and physical stress, certain illnesses, and accidents. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, has set limits on noise in the workplace. The regulations for workers are, may not be exposed to more than an average of 90 decibels on the A scale over 8 hours. There are recommendations that this must be reduced to 85 decibels. The most widely used sound filter is the A scale, so that's why you see dBA scale for most readings. Must be included in a hearing conservation program if exposure averages 85 dBA or more over 8 hours. OSHA's current permissible exposure limit, PEL, for noise controls is 90 decibels dBA, although the regulation also requires employers to have hearing conservation programs in all workplaces where noise levels exceed 85 dBA. Since the existing rule was promulgated in 1974, however, research has shown that workers exposed at between 85 and 90 dBA face significant risk of hearing loss. There are currently petitions to OSHA to reduce the PEL to 85 dBA for an 8-hour time-weighted average, TWA, consistent with the hearing conservation requirement. You may be exposed to too much noise if you have trouble understanding normal conversation at work with someone 2 feet away, hear prolonged ringing or other unusual noises after leaving the workplace, have trouble hearing TV or speech, but can hear normally again after a few hours off the job. Noise may damage your hearing if you have to shout over background noise to make yourself heard. The noise hurts your ears. It makes your ears ring, or you are slightly deaf for several hours after exposure to the noise. Hearing Conservation Program. The purpose of this program is to prevent hearing loss from exposure to loud noise. The program consists of noise monitoring, hearing protection, hearing tests, and training. Noise monitoring is checking the workplace areas to determine if hearing protection is required. If your exposure is continuous throughout the day, it may be necessary to measure the noise levels present in your work area. If exposed to varying, intermittent noise levels, you may have to wear a noise dosimeter for 1 day to determine daily noise exposure. Hearing protection devices, HPDs. This is your best defense when you're unable to reduce your exposure to loud noise levels. When worn properly, hearing protection can greatly reduce the decibel level that reaches your ear. There are 3 types of devices: earplugs, earmuffs, and canal caps. There is a noise reduction rating number, NRR, for each type of device. Earplugs, expandable foam and pre-molded. Expandable foam plugs are made of a formable material designed to expand and conform to the shape of each person's ear canal. Pre-molded reusable plugs are made from silicone, plastic, or rubber and are manufactured as either one size fits most or are available in several sizes. A critical tip about pre-molded plugs is that a person may need a different size plug for each ear. Earplugs have several advantages over earmuffs. Lighter weight, can be worn without interference from glasses, headgear, earrings, or hair, more comfortable in hot, humid environments, and less expensive than earmuffs. When inserting earplugs, before putting earplugs in, wash your hands to prevent infections from entering the ear. Inspect the earplugs for tears, cracks, or hardening. Inserting an expandable foam plug. Roll the plug between the fingers and thumb to make it thinner. making sure there are no wrinkles or creases in the plug. Reach one hand behind your head and pull your ear outward and upward to widen the auditory canal. Insert the plug well into the ear and hold it in place until it expands. You cannot hurt your eardrum because the plugs are too short to reach it. If the seal is not tight, the earplug will not be effective. Properly clean and store your earplugs. Earmuffs are hearing protection devices that are worn over the head like headphones. They block out noise by completely covering the outer ear. Muffs can be low profile with small ear cups or large to hold extra materials for use in extreme noise. Advantages of wearing earmuffs include providing more consistent protection than plugs. One size fits most heads. Easy to put on and take off, and are good for short jobs. Disadvantages are heavier than earplugs, may be uncomfortable in hot environments. Eyeglass wearers may not get a good seal. They're more expensive, and they resonate or vibrate at lower sound frequencies below 400 Hz. When putting on earmuffs, push your hair away from your ears. Center the earmuffs over your head and make sure the seal is tight. Adjust the headband so the earmuffs are resting comfortably on your head. The cup should entirely cover your ears. Inspect earmuffs for cracks, tears, or other signs of wear before putting them on. Canal caps. Canal caps have flexible tips that act as caps which plug the ear canal. They do not extend into the ear canal, only close the ear opening. They don't give you as much protection as ear plugs or ear muffs. Canal caps are ideal for situations where hearing protection must be taken on and off frequently. They are not designed for continuous long-term wearing. Insert canal caps much as you would earplugs. Pull the outer ear up and back, then insert the tips of the caps into the ear, firmly pushing and wiggling them into place. Miscellaneous devices. Scientists have developed earmuffs using high-tech materials to reduce weight and bulk, but still effectively block noise. On the horizon may be earplugs with built-in two-way communication capability. The best hearing protector is one that is comfortable and convenient and that you'll wear every time you're in an environment with hazardous noise. Audiometric testing. If you're enrolled in a hearing conservation program, you'll have an audiometric hearing test done annually. The purpose of the hearing test is to measure your hearing ability over time. Before you began your job in a high-noise area, you should have a baseline audiogram. Subsequent audiograms are then compared to this baseline to see if your hearing ability has degenerated since the baseline was taken. Standard threshold shift, STS, occurs when the hearing threshold has changed by an average of 10 decibels or more in either ear at 2,000, 3,000, or 4,000 Hz. If you have STS, your company may want you to change jobs or other measures to protect your hearing. Employee training. Employers must train employees exposed to time-weighted averages, TWA, of 85 dB and above, at least annually, in the effects of noise, the purpose, advantages, and disadvantages of various types of hearing protectors, the selection, fit, and care of protectors, and the purpose and procedures of audiometric testing. The training program may be structured in any format as long as the required topics are covered. Record keeping. Employers must keep noise exposure measurement records for 2 years and maintain records of audiometric test results for the duration of the affected employee's employment. Audiometric test records must include the employee's name, job classification, date, examiner's name, and the date of the last acoustic or exhaustive calibration. Measurements of the background sound pressure levels in audiometric test rooms, and the employee's most recent noise exposure measurement. Since January 1, 2003, employers have been required to record work-related hearing loss cases on OSHA record-keeping forms when an employee's hearing test shows a marked decrease in overall hearing. Employers can make adjustments for hearing loss caused by aging or seek the advice of a physician to determine if the loss is work-related. Devices or treatments. Hearing aids. These are small devices you wear in or behind your ear. They can help with some kinds of hearing loss by making sounds louder. Before buying a hearing aid, check to find out if your insurance will cover the cost. An audiologist can help fit you with the hearing aid. Assistive adaptive devices. These are products that can help you live well with less than perfect hearing. This includes telephone amplifying devices, ranging from a special type of telephone receiver that makes sounds louder to special phones that work with hearing aids. TV and radio listening systems can be used with or without hearing aids. Assistive listening devices are available in some public areas. Alerts such as doorbells, smoke detectors, and alarm clocks can give you a signal that you can see or a vibration that you can feel. Cochlear implants, if your deafness is severe. The doctor puts a small electronic device under the skin behind the ear. The device sends the message past the non-working part of the inner ear and on to the brain. Prevention. A very famous actor who is hard of hearing is Lou Ferrigno. Lou was motivated to become a bodybuilder as a teenager because he was teased by hearing peers for being hard of hearing. Well, they don't call him Deaf Louie anymore. Let's hear from Lou about his recommendations for hearing conservation.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. I want to talk about hearing protection. We have many children today that go to watch these rock concerts. They don't have the proper earplugs to wear because also kids listening to video games, loud music damages their hearing. And also you have many individuals out there working crane, working shooting. You have to really be aware of the bone nerve. Because a person like myself, I'm involved with the police department, the sheriff's department. I teach weapons training, and I see too many people sometimes they shoot shotgun or sporting clay or ski. They don't wear the headphone. They assume that the earplug will be sufficient, which is wrong because you could damage the bone nerve and eventually you lose your hearing. But that's why today with great technology we have also, I'm a spokesperson for the Starkey Hearing Clinic. And there are so many celebrities now coming out with a hearing loss, not being ashamed about it because the hearing loss is really a silent disease. You really can't see it, but it affects you tremendously if you have a hearing loss because if you don't take care of your hearing, it affects everything else you do in life. Especially listening to people going to parties when you have a hearing loss. That's why it's very crucial, young or it doesn't matter what age you are, that you really pay attention to keeping your hearing because it's really what you have. And it's also the eyes of the world. And that's why you use as much protection as you can. Because I've seen rock and roll stars now wear hearing aids because of all the loud music. Because sometimes they take advantage of the situation. Oh, my hearing's fine, I'm just fine. Because later in life, you can end up losing 20-30% of your hearing. And also has to do with medication. Sometimes they abuse medication. Like I've heard stories like people taking all this Vicodin, they lose their hearing, or pain medication. I mean, be aware of yourself and take better care of yourself, okay?
Protect your ears in the workplace. Specially designed earmuffs that resemble earphones can protect your ears by bringing most loud sounds down to an acceptable level. Over-the-counter or custom-molded earplugs made of plastic or rubber can also effectively protect your ears from damaging noise. Have your hearing tested. Consider regular hearing tests if you work in a noisy environment. Regular testing of your ears can provide early detection of hearing loss. Knowing you've lost some hearing means you're in a position to take steps to prevent further hearing loss. Avoid recreational risks. Activities such as riding a snowmobile, trap shooting, and listening to extremely loud music can damage your ears. Wearing earplugs during noisy recreational activities can protect your ears. Turning down the volume when listening to music can help you avoid damage to your hearing. That's a lot of information, but realistically, it's for your own benefit. Just because you're young, don't think poor hearing can't affect you. Just because you're getting older, poor hearing isn't something that happens with old age. Hearing conservation means being aware of noise and what you can do about it. Hearing aids are wonderful things, but they cost a lot of money. You have to replace the batteries frequently, and your hearing never sounds the same. Sounds filtered through a hearing aid sort of sound like your head is in a bucket. It's no fun, so protect your hearing now, so you won't have problems in the future.